everyone will stand for prayer. Prayer this evening will be recorded by Mr. Associate Pastor at Renovation Church, Mr. Lonnie Moore.
Lord Jesus, today we come before you and we want to thank you for your goodness, and we want to thank you for your grace and your provisions over our community and over our schools and over our faculty and families. Lord Jesus, tonight we come to you and we want to first thank you for the faculty and this board who has come together to oversee what has been entrusted to them. God, tonight we pray for wisdom, that you would grant us wisdom that comes from you to be able to handle, God, what you have given to us. God, that you would continue to watch over our schools and our faculty. May we make the best decisions for your glory. May you continue to bless this community with great faculty and families for the future development of generations to come. Jesus, today we declare you are good and you are a great God. All this we do tonight is for your name and your honor. We pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
If we could take just a moment of silence to remember those in Uvalde, Texas, that happened since the last time we heard the senseless. Thank you. Mr. Hall, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Board members, you've had a chance to review the agenda. There is some amendments to the agenda. Mr. Hall?
Yeah, I make a motion that we approve the agenda with a couple of amendments here. They are to remove items 8.1, the AFS update, and 8.2, custodial services RFP, from the information agenda, and then to add to the action agenda items 10.6 and 10.7. So 10.6 will be AFS contract termination to be effective July 31st. And item 10.7 will be a contract for the 2022-2023 custodial services effective August 1st.
Second that motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Recognitions, Dr. Hill.
Yes, Mr. Chair, ahead of the Wall of Fame recognitions, we have some students that are being recognized for achievements as the school year ended. I want to bring up Jared Pinkston, who can help talk a little bit more about what they've accomplished. Mr. Pinkston is the STEAM chair for Pender High School. You can talk about what they've done.
Awesome. So our kids have been meeting with Rocket Bay, which does like STEM education. So we've had kids that have been working on electro games. We've had kids that have been working on understanding like the basis of electronic engineering. I've had a couple of kids put movies together, oratory events, just a lot of different activities. It's kind of fun, kind of cool. And you know, I think for Pender County, we came in second place overall. Our high school actually was the first place for the entire area, which is kind of exciting. And so we're just doing a lot and tremendous strides to kind of bring that STEAM education for our kids, and this has been a great step. But most importantly, we have kids here who are here that have just been like excellent students. There's a student of the year for Rocket Bay here from Pender Early College, if you want to come up.
Madison Buff, we'd like to present you with a recognition. Here's your certificate.
We had one student who's unable to be here today for the Rocket Bay Scholarship, and we had another student from Pender Early College, Estrella Segovia, and we had one student, Effie Whaley, who did, or I think, was it second or third place with chemistry? Second place with chemistry. He was here for a scholarship. Come on up. Estrella is here. Or not? Oh, never mind, I was wrong.
There you go, so they should come.
We'll get it over. Some more than you guys want to.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Get your way.
For those who may not know me, I'm president of Rock. And I also brought something for Madison. So a laptop to help out with her homework next year. It's from the Rockamy board, so she was selected as one of the, I also took one other laptop to New Hanover County last week and presented it to a student there. I do have scholarship certificates for Effie and for Estrella. And this tells you how to get your money. It's a $1,000 scholarship, and she's our Corning Scholar of the Year. So Corning Incorporated sponsored the scholarship for Effie.
You can hold everything up, I know you've got a lot of your hands. Here. You got it? I don't want to do it.
I wrote right there.
Christie, you good?
Got it.
You wanna just give it that by yourself?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you. You might want to stand on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you. We're very proud of these students. Out of the ones that were selected, we had about 10 applicants for our scholarships. And Jared, he mentioned that they were winners in this area. Let me tell you, the area includes not only Pender County, New Hanover, Brunswick, and Columbus County. So that's a lot of students. And for these students to stand out, they really do deserve an applause.
We got to bring them all up, so it'll be a little bit. Maybe a few minutes. So, Mr. Chair, we have a unique opportunity tonight to kind of start some history. History begins today. I want to introduce Ms. Tammy Terrett, Ms. Tammy Proctor, part of the PEP support organization for the school system. They had a unique idea about a wall of fame for not normally athletics, but in this case about academics. So they were going to talk about representing and honoring people who have graduated from the school system here and bringing that back home to demonstrate that for others and show them where they can go in life.
Welcome, everybody. You have heard us talk about this wall of fame for months now, and I know you thought it's just a figment of their imagination. Well, it's not. And we have the award winners here to prove it. And we are completely excited about this opportunity. Tammy had an idea long ago that we needed to recognize people from Pender County School District who have gone out and made a difference, not only in Pender County, but in other parts of the world and even the United States. And all 4 of our recipients here have done just that and more. And I think you're going to agree with us that there was no contention at all as to why they were our first nominees. We are taking nominees for next year. So if there's someone that you think deserves to be recognized that came from the Pender County School District, and you're going to find that these folks started out in a very, very, very small school in this area and have managed to do great things. And you probably know other people that have done the same thing. We want to know it. We want to know who they are. We have an application on our website that you can go and fill out. Tell us who they are, tell us what they've done, and I'm sure that we will probably agree with you that they need to be recognized. We have already gotten 2 names already that literally came 2 weeks after we named the people who are here this evening. Tammy, why don't you tell them a little bit about your idea that you had?
Well, the Wall of Fame has a couple of reasons. It's a testimony to the excellence of Pender County's public schools. And also, it holds up alumni as examples and role models to encourage our students of today by honoring our students of yesterday. So we're just very pleased. The school board has just been so gracious to house this Wall of Fame. They won't let us hang anything till they repaint the wall. So we have the plaques. So if I could have Ambassador Maddie Sharpless, and if you want to come on up, whoever Dr. Johnny Batts, and Judge Gary Treywick. These are our alumni Wall of Famers, and we are very pleased to thank you for the example you set. And you've blazed a trail, and you are our first inductees into the Wall of Fame, and we can't wait to build to that wall. Now, we have educators that we are also going to honor, and that is Mary Gore Jordan. And the late Valdosia Williams. What we are going to do is this will be on the wall. The school district will take care of these. We looked at little plaques, and they didn't do these folks justice. Not at all. So, a little bit about what they did and what they achieved is on here. So it's a testimony to our students coming up and to the hard work of educators. So, Mary and Valdosia are going to be hard acts to follow because they are not only the educators, they're alumni too. So we thank you very much. Coastal Pender Rotary helped co-sponsor this because, as you can imagine, none of this was free. So they helped co-sponsor, and tonight we have, get out of your way, we have Lee and Ann Urban from the Coastal Rotary. So thank you so much.
Nice to be here.
All right, if you want to present, each honoree is going to take home a name plaque for your desk.
If the board will endow me a minute, I'd like to read just a little bit of some of the bio that comes from this so people can understand why these folks were nominated and why they so deservingly were chosen for this first recognition. Ambassador Maddie R. Sharpless attended Slough Point School in the Edgecombe community, Annandale School in Hampstead, and graduated from Pender County Training School in Rocky Point in 1961. She earned a Bachelor's of Science degree in Business Education from North Carolina College. In 1965, she was hired by the U.S. Department of Agriculture as a clerk stenographer. Employment with the USDA's Foreign Agricultural Service launched Ambassador Sharpless on a career path with the U.S. Foreign Service. After 2 foreign assignments, she earned a master's in business administration. Ambassador Sharpless crossed many hurdles to succeed from the secretarial and administrative level to the professional ranks. In 2001, she was appointed by Presidents Bill Clinton and George W. Bush as an ambassador of the U.S. Foreign Service, U.S. Ambassador to the Central African Republic. She's a trailblazer, a role model, and a mentor. And she's got her own highway, y'all. Excited to be able to do this and to have these pictures go up on the wall, and you'll be able to see them at a later time. I'm not going to leave here without giving you an opportunity to know a little bit about PEP. We are involved in a lot of different things, but the biggest thing we're involved in is trying to support Pender County School District in whatever way we can, whether it's raising money for scholarships, or it's awarding teachers many grants to be able to do things that they can't do with state budget funds that are approved and appropriated for the classroom. Something like this, where we recognize individuals for their hard achievement. This is all about Pender County, folks. It's all about Pender County. So Pender Education Partnership cannot do stuff like this if we do not have people that support what we do. If you're a local business, please join with us and try to help us elevate this program so that we can help a whole lot more people, including students and teachers and individuals like these who deserve this. They started out with hardly nothing. They came through the training school, they came up, they got educated, they left, and they went and did big things. And now they're back home to celebrate where it all started. You got roots. And we love doing stuff like this. But we can't do it if we do not have some monetary support. So my challenge to you is please go to pendereducationpartnership.org and make a donation. Any amount is acceptable. Any amount. And this is a year-round thing. This is not something we do, it's seasonal. You can donate any time of the year that you want to. But we have 2 special fundraising events that we do. We just closed one out. It was called Open Mic Night. It's our scholarship fundraiser. We're getting ready to gear up again in the fall for State of the Economy, State of the Education. Another opportunity for you to support our teachers and get them some mini grants so they can do cool things in the classroom. You have a child in the school system, you have a nephew, you have a niece, you probably live next door. This is where it's at. As Dr. Hill says, we are the most positive thing going on in this school district right now, and I'm pretty darn proud to be a part of that, aren't you, Dave?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So, please, go to the pendereducationpartnership.org website and donate whatever you feel like you can do. I guarantee it's going to come back to you tenfold. And I want to congratulate all of these individuals. I know all of these individuals. Some are from my neighborhood, and I remember hearing their names as a small child. And to be here and stand next to you, I just can't even tell you how that just makes my little heart beat. But anyway,
Back to the regular scheduled program.
yes. Get involved with PEP, folks. It'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel proud. Dave started it. I'm going to finish it.
It's a great honor that I present Mary Jordan with this honor of being one of our first class of Wall of Fame. Mary and I worked together here in Pender County back in the early 90s. She finally retired as a principal in the Topsail area after 34 years. And being a former principal, being married to a former principal, 34 years in that role is a major achievement. She's a CF Pope graduate and very proud of Pender County. So we are very proud to be able to present her with the Wall of Fame.
And it's my honor to introduce Dr. Johnny Batts. When I met him, I couldn't get him to say 2 words. And then I found out that he is a renowned physicist, and he taught in the early years of NASA, taught astronauts math and chemistry. He's worked and developed the MRI, would it be an MRI? But to be able to detect brain tumors and anomalies in the brain. He's known around the world, but not many of us knew him in Pender County. So it's just a real pleasure to introduce Dr. Johnny Batts. And then I also get to introduce Gary Treywick. He's a judge. I haven't met him personally in a courtroom. But he has written excellent books, if you haven't read any of his books. And he has worked in every courthouse in North Carolina. So he is a pretty renowned person as well. So thank you so much.
Don't put the pictures up, we gotta get a picture.
Okay.
The board is down right here. Yes, the slide, that way. I'm gonna take this whole half circle that way, about 2 feet. Yeah, let me hold that one.
Okay.
Let me put that that way.
You're part of my journey. You're more than part of mine. Your town. Very proud to stand by. Yeah. You are my journey.
Can't even get over here.
I was trying to get out of that.
You're okay.
Oh, you're the senator?
Yes.
Thank you, Board.
Thank you, guys.
We don't have a lot to say. This is part of my journey.
I wouldn't be where I am without this lady right here, I tell you what.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. From little old Maple Hill. The remote areas called. You're wonderful people, but you were there for me. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you to PEP, and congratulations to all the recipients. That's quite an honor, and they'll be hanging hopefully by the next board meeting if we can get a painter. Moving on to public comments. We do have 2 signups tonight. Prior to calling them to the podium, I need to read the rules, I guess it's called. Perry County Board of Education welcomes comments from our parents, students, and community. The public comment period is open for members of the public, including parents and students, to voice compliments, concerns, complaints about performance of the school personnel, implementation of board policy, the quality of education programs, and our school facilities. Each person is granted 3 minutes for his or her presentation. This portion of the meeting is for board to hear matters of interest from the public. However, obscene, vulgar, or profane statements and statements reasonably perceived to be disruptive or imminent threatening to the orderly operation of the meeting shall not be permitted. So the first on the list is Emily Kittless.
As you just heard, my name is Emily Kittless. I recently graduated from Topsail High School this year on May 26th. So that should already clue you in as to how important this is to me. I could be enjoying my summer right now, but instead I feel that it is imperative that I come and I bring this problem before you personally. So, I'm sorry. I was the primary student leader in the choir class at Topsail High School. I led warm-ups every single day. I taught music when the teacher was gone. And I attended to every single need that could have come up in the Topsail High School choir room. All of those kids are the most talented and passionate people that I've ever met, and I am honored to have served them this year. However, we do not have a full-time position still at Topsail High School for choir. Right now, we just have one teacher, Mr. Wensick, who is the greatest man I've ever known. He was my mentor, and he led me to become a music education major, which is what I will be pursuing in the fall. This man works so hard for every single student under his tutelage. That includes the 100+ students in the band program and the 60+ students in the choir program. He works as hard as he can, but I know that there can be better. I had a full-time choir teacher in middle school in the form of my mother. She had a 100 student program, and it was still blossoming. And under her tutelage, that program bloomed. So what I am asking you now is to please consider hiring a full-time choir director for Topsail High School. Not only will it offer more advantages to the students, it will offer more opportunities. Because certain opportunities in the choir world can only be sought after if there is a full-time position. Because of this, we are missing out on music performance adjudication, which is where you get judged. And the band currently has, I think it's 11 superiors for MPA. And with the talent at Topsail High School, it is unimaginable to me how much talent we have and how much better we could do if we only have a full-time position. So the only way that we can do this is with your help and with your support. Please.
Thank you. Kenneth Keith.
Good evening again to the board, to Dr. Hill, Ms. Chestnut. You all know why I'm here. I've been here, been coming since October in reference to the Addendum School name change. I'm here because it has a historical value. So tonight, Mr. George, I direct my attention to you. You weren't here at the last meeting, so I'll repeat some of the things so I know that we get what was said. Last June, they sent a letter to the board requesting a meeting in reference to changing the name because of its historical value. It was one of those equalism schools built for minority students back when it was built. Look at the result of what happened. You had two of the people on the list here tonight, Ms. Sharpless, Mr. Batts. That's why it's important. They've come, they've been nice, none of them have spoken rudely. They were asking for a meeting to go for a whole year, June to June, and you all, other than for the last meeting, a few conversations, nobody took the time to say anything, to not call Mr. Hansler or Mr. Garrison. That's unacceptable from the board. You know that, I know that. Now people beginning to ask questions, well, what is the problem? I can't tell you what the problem is. Are you afraid? Are you afraid that people will kick back? Somebody asked me recently, said, well, is it a racial issue? Is it because we're black? I know you all better than that. Now the group that changed the name back in 1968, I can't say that about them because we all know what was going on. This has nothing to do with the new stuff coming around, it's none of that. Critical race theory, they got nothing to do with that. School's important. The name change is important. It has its place. These people can do things for the school like everybody else. I remember the PTA bought some playground equipment and everything. Those people that went to Addendum can do the same thing. But you got to give them a reason to be involved. I still say to go a whole year, a year. I can't think of nothing else that had come before the board that would go for a whole year and you ignore the people. That's unacceptable. So I ask you to Speak to them, speak to the media, take a vote, let them know where you stand, make a public stand. I know you're individual and you all are good, but as a group, something's wrong somewhere where this is going on. That's pretty much what I got to say. Give the people a vote.
Thank you, Mr. Keith. The items were removed off the information agenda, so we'll move to the consent agenda. Board members, you've had a chance to review the consent agenda. Is there any items of concern? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. So one good thing about the consent agenda tonight, 9.24, that should be the last time we have to vote on that, mass protocols. Moving into the action agenda. Scroll down to see who's got that. Dr. Bracy.
Good evening, board members, Chairman George, Superintendent. You have before you action item 10.1, the Edgenuity renewal for Pender Innovative Learning Academy. It's a renewal, so if you look at the executive summary, the main points, it's the online instructional services that HELA uses, as well as the funding implications notice that we're using PRC 181 ESSER funds for that. So I ask for your approval for 10.1.
Board members, is there a motion to approve in the amount of $322,500?
Make a motion to approve the amount that was presented through the renewal Innovative Learning Academy's virtual pathway using the ESSER funds.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, is there a motion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
Next one.
Maybe the next one too?
Yep. Board members, you have also 10.2. This is also a renewal for grades 6 through 8. iReady is also a renewal for teachers for curriculum associates that delivers online instructional services and gives some interactive online learning environment for students for assessments. And for middle grades, our K-5 currently have it, and we're just going to move it up to 6 through 8 as well. So also you see the fiscal implications with ESSER funds as well, PRC 181.
I make a motion then to approve the spending of $133,937.34 out of ESSER funds for the grade 6 through 8 iReady and Teacher Toolbox renewal.
There's a motion by Mr. Smith. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Book challenge policy revision, policy 3210. Dr. Bloomerwright?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the board, what you have in your packet are proposed revisions to policy 3210 with the book challenge policy revisions. You will notice in there are two components to really be aware of. So the first is the makeup of the school and the district level components of who will be involved. And then the second portion will be two sets of documents, or two documents. One will be the actual form that can be either digitized, which will be provided by the district, which is in compliance with the guidance from DPI. So that can be the originating document, and then the second portion is a committee document that goes through the process that can be used at both the school and the district levels with signage, and of course it can be done digitally, so therefore it will be maintained in perpetuity.
Board members, is there a motion to approve the book challenge policy revisions 3210?
Is this the first reading?
This is the this is action one and a half.
Okay.
there a
Make a
motion?
motion that we approve the book challenge policy revisions for policy 3210.
Is there a second?
I second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing those, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. Thank you, sir. I think you're still there for 10.4. New PCS website application purchases with overview.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So what you have in front of you is information specific to the purchase of our new PCS website and for your approval. With this new application, we'll do a couple of things. So I'm going to bring, of course, Mr. Lawson up here because he was instrumental in getting this up, running, and talk about the process. And then we'll bring in Mr. Bob Fankbonner, who will talk specifically to show you basically the website and how it works. There's an increased functionality, of course, it's very updated. It looks really snazzy, but there's an increased functionality. And so it'll create a better user experience, not only for principals and other school-based personnel that have to post information and use social media, but also for people such as our clients or citizens that will be able to access it. So,
Let me ask a question before we get started.
yes, sir.
$35,200 cost, is that out of local taxpayer Pender County money?
No, that's a good question, Mr. Paul. It is actually out of PRC 165, the bulk of it, which is state money, which is a grant that actually, where'd Craig go?
Oh, right here, sorry.
Craig wrote. And then the remaining portion is 031, which is state money.
Okay,
And so those are allocated to us. Here.
okay. What would they be used for otherwise?
Well, originally, the 165 money was a grant for Canvas, which is a learning management system. Didn't quite kind of go the direction that it needed. 031 funds expire every single year, so we use them for a wide variety of purposes. That's, you can really articulate that, but they have sometimes been used to fund anything that is student-centered that helps with student achievement.
Okay, good, thanks.
So I'm going to bring Craig up here.
Board, Mr. Chair, thank you. I just have a short presentation for you, just to kind of highlight some of the key features of the new software and how it gives us increased functionality that we did not have beforehand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So again, Apogee is the name of the software company that we're going with, and really it is a full communications platform. So, you know, one of the things that Dr. did not mention is there are other platforms that we've had in the past that are now being incorporated under one umbrella. We did have a district application which we were using, but it was not tied to our website. We also have some messaging services as well, which I'll talk about a little bit more here in a moment. So some of the benefits of this software, our previous software was not fully ADA compliant. Obviously, that is something that we want to move to. That's something that is a requirement by law. And we want to make sure that our websites and the communication tools we're using are accessible to everyone. So that's really a big deal for us. So this software will allow that and ensure that we're meeting that compliance. It also has an integrated app, so this is going to increase some functionality. Some of the feedback we got with our old app was that it was not getting updated regularly. The information wasn't necessarily matching exactly what was on the website, and the new service allows us to push out messages at the same time to all of these platforms. So that means that whatever goes on the website is also going to go immediately onto the app, as well as to all our social media platforms. And again, to kind of expand upon that, the distribution to media platforms. How it is currently is all of these accounts are separate. So Facebook accounts for the schools in the district, the Twitter accounts, the website, the app, so it's separate. So if Bob wants to update and he wants to post a message for the school district, that's upwards of 100 different accounts, right? So obviously that's not something that Bob can want to do. The new software, he types up one message and clicks a button, and it can go out to all 100 of those accounts, right? So when he posts a message on this new software, it's going to go to the new website, both at the district level and at the school level, if he'd like, as well as the app and all the associated social media accounts that are tied to that. So that's great.
So let me just quick, right
Yes,
there.
sir.
Yeah, so instead of each school having to try to share catch that and share it, it'll automatically go to their school account.
Correct, exactly. And one of the other benefits of this in the past, it becomes difficult. If we've got like a Twitter account, managing that at the school level can be a challenge for administration and staff. The new software allows us to add as many staff members as the administration would like to that. So say our coaches, right? We just had, STEAM up here and they were talking about that. So all those folks can be tied to the actual school accounts and they can post on the school social media straight from their phone even. So it's going to really make it a lot easier and quicker for us to get out messages to our community. And that's critical. And that kind of goes into this account management and ease of updating. One of the things that we want to make sure that we're doing is communicating on a more regular basis and getting information out as quickly as possible and making sure that, we are providing that on a regular basis. So having software that allows us to push a message out to all the platforms at once and also allows us to include more staff members to make those updates is going to really help us to kind of increase that communication. And it's got a great modern design. So we got a short little video here that shows the new app. And again, real quick, I just want to say, sorry, lost my place. But again, this is a one-stop shop, so for all mass communication. The other cool thing they can do, which we don't have the functionality right now, is that if there's an emergency, the new app will allow folks to turn on notifications. We can actually send out a notification for folks' phones. The notification will pop up, and that is a way that we can do much quicker, fast notification to our parents in case there's a weather issue. We've got to close the school for some reason. Maybe, there's something going on in school that we need to let our community know. So again, the notifications will be there. Also, we can actually include voice calls and stuff straight through the same piece. So when we're updating social media, it'll automatically send out voice calls to our folks. Right now, we use a separate program for that. All right.
Introducing the brand new app for Pender County Schools on Android and iPhone. It's everything PCS in your pocket. This is the home screen. Tap the schools icon in the bottom right to select a specific school. Tap the 3 horizontal lines in the bottom left to see all the menu items. To turn on push notifications, tap Settings and select Push Notifications. The Events section shows a list of events throughout the school. You can use this button to add an event to your calendar, or tap here to share the event with friends and family. The feed is where you'll find updates from administration about what's going on throughout the school, whether that's celebrating a student's success or reminding you about an upcoming deadline. Search Pender County Schools in the App Store or Play Store to explore the app for yourself. It's everything PCS in your pocket.
Yeah, but even show is, I also really like the updated staff directory. So using the app on the phone, it's going to allow parents to filter the directories in school by grade level. So if you got a student in 3rd grade, you can just show me the 3rd grade teachers, right? And there'll be buttons in the app that they can directly call or email the teacher right there, so they don't have to copy and paste or something like that. So it's really user friendly. It's great. We really like it so far. So the timeline for this and what we're looking at is doing what we would call a soft launch here later this month. That means that the current websites and services will not go away for those folks that are used to using that, but we want to start bringing up these new sites because we want to give folks an opportunity to give some feedback and see the new sites. We want to make sure that we take the month of July to really further develop, listen to feedback, and make this the best possible communication that we can for our community. And then in August, we'll do a full launch as students return, where, again, Bob will help out with this a lot, and we'll make sure that we get the message out so folks know that we have a new app, we have a new website, and then moving forward, we're going to really start paying close attention to the analytics and the data we're getting as far as, who's using our site, who's using our app, and how beneficial that is to hopefully increasing us getting the message out to folks about what's going on in schools and at the district level. That's all I got for you, Dave. Do you have any questions for me before we bring it back? Thank you very much. Oh, yes, sir.
Adaptability to other languages?
Yes, there's actually a drop down right now. We've already got Spanish built in. So, right on the website, there's a drop down for that. And we're looking at potentially putting some other languages, looking at what is our student body and what they can benefit from. But yeah, that'll be in there and fully integrated. Yes, sir.
So board, basically, this is the answer. I know we've been trying to get by with free items and low-cost items and and we know there's been some complaints, and you guys have said in the past you'd like to see it more user-friendly. So this is our attempt to advance, but the modern age, especially a school system our size, it's time to invest into it, to make it work. And as well as the safety features it'll bring to the school system.
Okay. So let me do a couple things first.
Notifications.
Oh, hang on, Bob. There you go. And let me pull up your, where's the web page? Nope. Oh, where's it? You want to tell me where it is?
You can just go to Thrushare on class one. You can just pull it up from the back end.
What you got?
Yeah, well, I will say when we get this up, one of the nice things about this is the one-stop shop that Craig mentioned. Almost on a daily basis, I'm able to get on Thrushare, which is what loads into this, to get into every social media account across every school. So, for instance, when we were at a field day or when they had Special Olympics, while I'm in the field, I'm able to take anything from an SD card, plug it into my phone, go from there and post on site if I'm using a still camera. If I'm using just my iPhone, I can just take a strip from my iPhone and do that. And the same thing works with video, that I can edit things on site, I can post on site, and it's up instantaneously. During graduation, we bounced from graduation to graduation. My goal was before one graduation started, the previous one was up and running. And outside of a glitch at the end of the night, well, it did actually work because Topsail was the last one. So every high school graduation before that next one started was up and running and could be attached to each of the individual schools' web pages, mobile apps, and social media outlets, all from one spot without bouncing around. So this is what the website, this is the homepage of the website for the district, is what it'll look like. And you can notice right off the bat just how much cleaner this is. This is a video that I put together, so this will be the heading of the website, and this can change at any time. But Craig and I felt that having a header video was just something that would grab your attention right off the bat to kind of hammer home who we are as a district. But the video itself just kind of leads you in to the next section, which again, much larger. And for what I want to do is a very good feature with this news section, because I told Dr. Hill, I feel like right after I first started, it was the first district meeting that I attended. My goal is to almost run this news feed as a news organization. I want to do my best to stay ahead of the social media game where so many people get their news from. That if we can put something out and we can get it on the news section before it makes its way to social media, or put out any fires that are already on social media, and do this to an amount that media outlets themselves will start to think, well, let me check Pender's webpage today to see what's going on. I just think it's a great tool to get that out there. So it's prominently featured. The live feed, again, this is something that as you post in stories, like the 2 hours ago one, I reminded folks that there was a Board of Education meeting today. So that goes to the live feed, which goes across to all the various schools. You pull that right up on the mobile app right now to find that as well. It'll keep a running tab of everything that's going on. So you see it was updated 2 hours ago. I posted a day ago talking about the bond, a day ago for open house with Pender Lee. So it's just that running tab that is constantly fresh material. And again, scrolling down, this is information that Craig has put in, again, to show who we are as a district. We can change numbers, we can put in different headings. All of this is able to be done really easily. And all the departments are featured as well. And it's actually us. That's the Pender graduation. That's our school bus. Dr. Hill speaking. These are not, it's not fake stock information. So even if you go into, your own tab, we have all the information up with the most up-to-date photos that we have. But people are able to find information on our website much faster and much easier than it's ever been. And we're able to push it to every school's individual page, to where if a teacher sends me something from, I'm at the science fair today, here's some pictures, I thought you'd want to know them. I can post them to not only our site, I can post them to that individual school site, and it's all done with just one click. It's super easy, super convenient. And the app is up and running right now. And as far as views go, Craig sent me this just the other day. A little more than 46% of all of our traffic comes from the mobile app. So the mobile app itself is really where the traffic is driving, and you can download that right now and have it, and you can set your preferences to whatever school you want to get the information that we want to get out there. So my hat's off to Craig for all the work that he's done on this to get this up and running. We had a goal to get this going before the school year started, and I think what Craig's done is really put us ahead of schedule, and it's just such a better look than the old website, and much more information. That's all I have. Craig with the show. I just kind of talk through it.
Board members, are there any questions?
Preliminary, the initial costs that you have down here, what is the future then, year after year? Is there a,
We're going to work on the presumption that it's going to be the same every year.
Any other questions? Board members, you've seen the presentation, and I have a motion to approve, total of $35,200.
make a motion to approve the amount presented for the new PCS website application, purchase with overview.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, those all in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you, sir. Thank y'all for the presentation. That's gonna be nice. And it works with Android.
Hats off to Craig.
10.5, Pender High School repaving project.
Chairman George, member of the board, in front of you is the Pender High School repaving project. It's to repave and replace parking lots and access roads at Pender High School. This is our primary location for the 2022-23 paving projects.
I make a motion that we approve that.
The motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
We're approving a motion for the amount of $344,558.82. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, sir. 10.6, AFS Contract Termination. Is there a motion to proceed with that?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Can I ask for a friendly amendment to the motion?
Yes, sir.
Can the motion, if Mr. Hall doesn't mind, to add a date of termination of possibly July the 29th, which
31st.
July 31st, I apologize, which I believe is a Friday.
It's this Sunday.
Or Sunday, okay.
In case there's church.
Right. If you don't mind, Mr. Hall, if I can add that to it.
I'll restate the motion as presented.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? So I got just a little bit of discussion. It's it's not pleasant having to do this, but went through a couple of schools in the last couple of weeks, and we just don't seem to be getting any cleaner. With the schools that the students have been out 3 weeks, and the bathroom trash from 3 weeks ago is still in the trash can. You can look at the sinks in the bathroom and tell they haven't been wiped in who knows how long. Not because they're dirty, but because of the dust that's built up on them. So that's the driving force behind this. So we've been having updates and police sessions now for several months. And unfortunately, it's come time we have to do something. Our staff's having to clean up, go way above and beyond what they should have to be doing just to make sure they have a sanitary work environment to work in. And it's just unacceptable. So if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So that brings us to our next 10.7, which is the 2022-23 cleaning contract negotiations. We need a motion to approve to enter into negotiations with a projected start date of August 1st with HES Facilities Management. I think it's the correct name of the company. Is there a motion?
I make a motion that on August 1st, we go into contract negotiations, you said, Mr.
We'll
Chairman?
go into contract negotiations now with a projected start date of August 1st.
Okay, we go in contract negotiations now with a start date of August 1st with the HES Corporation.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there any discussion? So the staff that's here, it's going to be a hectic summer. I mean, that's going to be a transition in the summer, and we know what goes supposed to go on during the summer. The past 6 months is any indication. I don't know that that was going to go on in any way, but we just ask you to be patient and keep us up to date of how the new contractor's doing when they get here in August. Now we have to give them they're not going to come in August 1st and everything's going to be sparkling. We realize that. And there's going to be time for them to get up to speed, and it's going to take a lot of catch up for where we're starting at. But if you be patient and then just keep the board abreast, they've got some apps that we get to look at. So when you go in and do your inspections, we'll get to see what you're inspecting and what your concerns are. So if there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And that concludes our action agenda for tonight. We're at comments from board members. We'll start with Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Today marks the 245th anniversary of the adoption of our American flag. And I'm pleased to say that in Pender County Schools, we still are pledged the flag on a regular basis. And so I know that this board will continue to see that that happens. That just like the flag is made up of different stars that make up our great nation, we also know that what makes Pender County Schools great is a diversity of our students, staff, and everyone that comes in. It's my hope that with this new contract with HES, that we'll see an improvement in the future of not only the schools being clean as we're doing on the outside, but also on the inside as well. And also we're looking forward to the pavement at Pender High School. I do encourage the teachers and staff, if you do see something, please, far too many things are not get reported. So if you do see something, not necessarily just cleaning, but with any of your building maintenance, please let central office know so that we can get you on the list and get this progress working. We have a large county, and we're really looking forward to great things for the upcoming school year. And again, I just say thank you for all that you're doing and hope you're having a great summer.
Ms. Fontana?
Just like to say that graduations are always one of my favorite parts of the year. This year did not disappoint. I wasn't able to attend Pender Early College. I was with my mom that day at some procedures that she had to have. But I will say that the other four, they were all different, they were all unique, and they were a blast. I would just like to add a side note that my job this year was to ask or poll as many kids, Topsail High, that was hard to do, but as many as I could to ask, right, so what's your plan? very interesting answers that we received. But I will say that a lot of them, I would say the majority of them, are going into the workforce, and they're looking at anything that had to do with vocational ed. I mean, I heard about, I'm gonna go work with my uncle, has a flooring company. That was a young gentleman at Heidi Trask. I'm gonna install floors. There's good money in that. I heard a couple others who said they were going into the military. There were some interesting answers that we received, but overall it was quite. We have one going to at Pender High. Got going to ODU, Old Dominion University. I haven't heard anybody going to ODU in quite a while. That was pretty awesome. I think he's playing football, right? Isn't that what I heard? Okay. And I don't remember the young man's name, but I know that he's pretty pumped up about it too. So that was pretty exciting. A lot of military, like I said. You know, I think too that basically what we heard was that we're so glad that we offer what we do, our JROTCs, and now we're going to have Coast Guard at Topsail High. We've got so many things going on, like the brick masonry and all that we do for vocational ed. Don't forget, there's a lot of money to be made in those areas. You think there's not? You ought to try building a house right now, or we're restoring an old farmhouse, and the money that you can make in some of these areas when it comes to building and rebuilding is quite phenomenal. So just so you know, that was a really fun day, and to hear lots of great answers. Secondly, I'd just like to go back to something Mr. George was talking about. We do know that we do have some situations that are in really great shape when it comes to our custodial services. And we know who those people are. But there's a lot of areas that need to be worked on. So to the new group that we're going to be working with, you have a job to do. You have a big job to do. Principals, do not be shy to reach out and tell us when you have an issue. I know you can do that. I know what it's like to sit there and you're looking and you go around, oh gosh, this hasn't been done, I've got to do it, or it's crazy the things you guys have to do in the summer, but don't be shy to let us know when there's an issue. That's what your central services office is for. That's what we're for. Please let us know when there's an issue. And finally, I'd just like to, this is the last meeting for a very dear friend of many of ours and a person who has been here quite a while. I had the pleasure of working for Dr. Alfreda Moore for quite a while. She was there for me for many things. I was there for her. She was Pollyanna 1, I was Pollyanna 2 at Central Office. This is a new journey in your life, my friend, and you're going to do absolutely great things. And you have a parent who needs you right now. She needs her daughter. And you go and enjoy that time. So that's all I have.
Mr. Hall?
I just want to encourage our group that came out tonight about the Topsail School and Annandale School. I want to encourage everybody, sometime before we meet again next time, people like PTA members, the group that came tonight, teachers that work there, some parents, whoever, but some people need to get together and talk about some things here, and I just want to encourage everybody to do that before our next meeting. And otherwise, as for the cleaning, there are employees that are currently working for AFS right now. Not trying to tell you what to do, but you need to keep some of these people, and I emphasize some. The principals can probably tell you what you need to know. So of you, just let me ask that you reach out to every principal we've got, and I know you probably will before this is all said and done, but if y'all could do that, that'd be very much appreciated, and will probably help you with your staffing. So, on who to hire and not to hire. So, otherwise, that's it. Thank you.
Ms. Burns?
Sometimes when you sit in this chair, you have to make some very hard decisions. Tonight was one of those very hard decisions. But when it came right down to it, we have to make sure that our schools are safe and sanitary for our students to attend. With the action that we took tonight, I have great hope that they will be. I also wanted to reiterate what Ms. Fontana said about graduation. Graduation to me is one of the best days of the year. And this year did not disappoint. And it was really interesting to hear Cindy ask them, what are you, what's your plan? What's your plan? And we had some pretty interesting answers. And like I said, it's always my favorite time. But again, I've only been on this board for about 3 years and 6 months. But I can always say that Dr. Moore unfailingly provided us with the best information that she could and loyal service. Thank you, ma'am. And that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Burns. So I'm going to start off by apologizing for it being, it feels like 100 degrees in here. We're going to work on that for next month too. I'm with Dr. Moore. She's been here since I've been here in 2012. She's been leading the ship, and she's taught me a lot, and she's answered a lot of questions. Coming from the private sector, sometimes things don't make sense, and she was able to explain. I can't say she made them make sense, but she explained the reason why they were the way they are. So for that, I appreciate it, and we're gonna truly miss you. But we have confidence in your replacement that you're gonna make sure he's up to speed, and I think he'll do an outstanding job while you're gone. Moving into graduations, I wasn't able to attend Pender High School's graduation, but I heard it was nice, overcast, and it wasn't too hot. I can't say so much about we got the Heidi Trask and Topsail. They were all enjoyable. I stood there and listened to Cindy ask the questions, and some of the answers was very, if you only knew. And some of them I wish I remembered who they were, because I would like to see if they followed through on some of their things. But majority of them are going to some kind of technical school, or there was, 4-year college or military or work. There was very few that answered they had no clue, but there was those, and I appreciate that, because not everybody has a clue, which is okay too. I mean, sometimes you save yourself and your parents a lot of money by not admitting you don't have a clue, but they'll figure it out. So thank you to the staff that got those students to where they were. They'll appreciate it one day. I appreciate mine. Speaking of appreciating the teacher, there was a teacher at Topsail High School that passed away, a former teacher of mine that passed away recently, Miss Ellis, Kathy Ellis. She taught my sister in '78, she taught me in '86, and she taught my son in 2012. So she was a true, diehard, dedicated educator. And I'd just like to pay a little respects to her and the job she did for the students at Topsail High School. Moving into the cleaning thing, I did tour some schools, and they were terrible. And I took pictures and asked questions. And a lot of it was our cleaning facility, our cleaning crew wasn't doing what they're supposed to do. But there's several things that I witnessed in the school that are outside of the cleaning crew's obligation, that I charge the administrators to make sure that, we're following up on work orders. We just had the incident in Texas, and so security's high on everybody's list, and I went to a couple of schools, and the door closures aren't closing the doors all the way, so they're not latching. We need to make sure we follow up on that. There's holes in the ceiling, not ceiling tiles, but actual holes. That's not the cleaning company's responsibility to fix that. So even though the light fixtures, yes, part of their cleaning company was to change the lamps and the light fixtures, but changing the shades or replacing the shades that are damaged or reinstalling them when they're hanging out, just dangling by the wires, that's beyond their scope. So I encourage everyone to take a tour of your facilities and get the work orders in. And I realize that we are short-staffed in maintenance, but according to Mr. LaFawn, a lot of these things are going to be addressed over the summer break with contractors. So let's make sure we get the most we can in this short period of time out of what we got to deal with. If you looked at the county budget that came out, we didn't get any extra money for capital outlay. So we're not going to have any extra money to spend on fixing stuff that if it gets tore up beyond what we got now. So we need to try to take care the best that we can of what we currently have, because there's nothing left to fix it with. Other than that, I have no other comments. Comments from the board attorney, Mr. McPherson.
Good evening, board. A couple of things to highlight. I am under the impression that we may have at least an agreed upon state budget by the end of this week. Legislators and leadership of both houses have been committed to have a budget by approved by and in session by July 4th. Here's to hoping. I would love to have a state budget this year. I will tell you that that makes Ms. Chestnut's life easier, my life easier, your superintendent's life easier. So let's hope and pray that that comes to fruition. Additionally, there's some things moving around that I'd like to bring your attention to. House Bill 755 is making its way back to the House for consideration. It is a Parents' Bill of Rights. If you haven't had an opportunity to read it yet, I encourage you to do so. I bring it to your attention just to educate yourself on what's being proposed. There's some elevated rights that are in there that are different from what's currently in existence under federal law, including modification to when you have to deliver education records when requested by parents. Under federal law, that's a 45-day timeline. This shrinks that timeline down substantially, so that could have some implications. But right now, once again, we're dealing with a House bill that was modified by the Senate going back to the House. So that is not a guarantee that it's actually going to pass the House. What I've heard is some version of this will pass both houses, and depending on what it looks like when it comes out of the General Assembly, whether or not the governor is going to sign it. So the last thing is two things. First thing is a point of personal privilege. Having had the opportunity to work with Dr. Moore for several years at this point in this role and serving this district, I can say that having an experienced human resources leader has been a hallmark of this school district since I arrived. And it has been a gift and has been an honor and a privilege to work with Dr. Moore and seeing all the wonderful work she has done and how this district has been served by her leadership. Suffice it to say, most of the stuff we can't talk about, but it was an absolute honor and privilege. The last thing is to piggyback on Chairman George's comments about safety and security. I think it's on everyone's mind, focusing on hardening schools while also keeping them welcoming, which is an incredibly hard job. But that's the task that your administration and this school district is challenged to do. So I encourage you, and I'm encouraged by the hard work that you guys do every single month, along with your administration, each and every teacher and school employees doing their absolute best. So I commend you, and I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before we move to Dr. Hill, can we just get a round of applause from Dr. Moore? Report from the superintendent.
I report I need to deliver these flowers back to Dr. Moore. Board, I will say out of the meeting with the Board of County Commissioners, I need to take every opportunity between now and November but the County Commissioners did unanimously vote to allow a school bond on the ballot for November. So we do appreciate that, and I think that probably every time we get the opportunity to say, please support this initiative. It's a super, I don't think I have to defend it. I think it's basically the fact it is, there's just no more room in the end. I mean, there's no argument here. It is a needed venture, it's needed something, so it's been needed. And the one thing I want to drive home, it's totally based on the current number of children who live in this county now. So it's not even predictions, we're not looking at who's coming. It's the ones that are currently here is what the numbers are based off of. So we really need the public to get behind the school system in that sense. Again, though, with Ken, but basically we want to thank everybody for what they've done this year. But we want to thank everybody for the hard work they put in. This has almost been the most challenging year since everything that's been going on with pandemic and of course the hurricane before that, where we took the 2 years to finish out. But I will say that it's been extremely difficult to move back and forth and change at the whim, you know, whatever's going on in society or whatever's going on in the world. And I do appreciate all the hard work that everybody in this room and the ones that couldn't attend have done. Please take some time this summer and rest. We will try to especially get somebody, you know, in here, but I think the first couple of weeks of July is kind of when we'll slow down a little bit. And just want to encourage the staff to please take some time to rest and enjoy your family. And thank you. That's all, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We never recessed out of closed session, so, or adjourned out of closed session, so we'll just go back into closed session under the same motion.
Before we do that, Mr. Chairman, do we need to, have to cancel the whole when we had the vape?
Oh, yes, we did need to put that to the agenda. So I need to make a motion for an agenda amendment. Okay. So we're gonna make this,
Action number,
do we do it now, Brandon, or do we put it at 15.3?
I think you could,
Do it now?
I think you do it now.
We'll make it 13.1.
Right.
make a motion then to add to modify the agenda 13.1, vape detector presentation.
Is there a second to amend the agenda?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, the agenda's been amended. Sorry about that, I forgot completely. I'm glad, thank you, Mr. Smith, for remembering that.
Chairman, George, members of the board, I have before you an RFP for the vape detection. I'm seeking your approval for that, and it's for the high school, middle schools, and P11. All the game grounds.
Board members, there's a motion, is there a second? Jeez.
What was the
Is there a
amount?
motion?
I make a motion that we approve the RFP for vape detection.
I think we need to address the adding it to the agenda first and then.
Yeah, we did that.
Okay.
I did that part. Had a motion and a second.
Was there a vote?
It wasn't a vote. Is there, all in favor say aye?
Aye.
Aye. Now we have it.
There we go.
Now that we have a motion to approve the,
I got, what is the amount of this?
Well, we won't know until we put out the
Put out the
RFP.
RFP.
This is just to do an RFP then?
Yes.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve an RFP for vape detection.
is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All right, thank you.
I vote no.
Oh, one no. Now, the closed session
Yes.
motion.
Pender County Board of Education will enter into closed session, subject to the advice from the attorney pursuant to NC General Statute 143-318.11A1 and A6, to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel information under GS 115C-319, and to consider matters relating to the initial employment of an individual employee. The board will also go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A3 to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege, to consider confidential student matters as provided by NC General Statute 143.318.11A1 and and the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, 20 U.S.C. 1232G, and NC General Statute 115C-402 to establish or instruct staff or agents concerning the terms of a contract or proposed contract for the acquisition of real property as provided by NC General Statute 143-318.11A5, and to consider and give instructions to the board's attorney concerning Burns Fisher versus Pender County Board of Education et al.
There's the motion, board members. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are in closed session now. Board members, we are now at a closed session. Is there a motion to approve the HR resource report and addendum?
I'll make a motion that we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to accept the closed session minutes and have those remain confidential?
I make a motion that we accept the closed session minutes and keep them confidential.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.